Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am your humble host, Mr. David Knoll, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers, and I greet you as always with the love and the honor of the infinite creator. And I do continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, and all you come in contact will learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, and the wisdom from the universe. And that you continue to learn how to reject those things that are not necessary in your life. Happy Tuesday, what's left of it. Still got the rest of the week to go. I also want to say a prayer and to finish up behind the prayer I just said. I am burning sage and I continue to pray that creator and the spirits will allow me to speak truth and to speak wisdom as part of my shaman's journey. I'm burning sage and I've been meditating these last 15, 20 minutes. And to make sure that what I say and what comes out of my mouth and everything is not necessarily so pure, but honorable and truthful, and that it will help those who are trying to find their way on their shaman journey. So, but anyway, whoa, boy, it's a good thing I got a concrete floor. I kind of planned it that way. Well, that'll burn out on the floor and won't catch anything on fire. I hope business is going well for you, Doug. Getting ready for bed. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I have a tendency to put people to sleep, which is okay with me. At least there's a purpose, right? Well, and this is sort of my continuing. Um, I didn't want to put part two or three or whatever as far as my discussing how we change our word patterns and so forth. And we got one more minute. I wanted to be here for those who wanted to share a 20 with me. So, hey, Chloe, and I don't know if anybody else is in the building, but blessings to you all. So, let's share a 20 if you want. But in my conversation with self, I guess you could say, um, having worked with words and so forth for a long time and having worked on it myself and into my schedule of my life and how I speak with people and so forth, in trying to stop and say, okay, this is what you should do first. Yeah, it's very difficult. So, but anyway, so this is part of a series, okay? My continuing series, because I really honestly do feel that people, a lot of times, honestly, as much as they are on this spiritual journey, and I'm not trying to, say anything that they're not, but they look over some of the simple things like, what are you saying? What are you holding in your heart, for example? Hang on. So, and I'm going to start with this word for this particular session. All right. So that everybody kind of gets where I'm coming from. There are a lot of negative words. Okay. But here's one that is like the most negative of all. Okay. Is the word hate. Okay. Well, I hate you. Well, I hate them. Well, I hate what they're doing. Well, I hate. Okay. So, all right. We know how you feel about it. But here's the thing, think about what the vibration is that the word hate brings. You could count the numbers and the letters and all that, not where I'm at. Hey, Witch Moon, blessings to all y'all from South Georgia this Tuesday evening. And we got a little bit of storm damage, not a lot much. The lights flickered. We got about 2 inches of rain roughly here at the house. that storm did go by, and we were lucky it wasn't any worse or anything. But anyway, just thought I'd throw that in there. Um, Another storm we survived, another hurricane, or almost a hurricane. Henry, or whichever it is now. No, Fred. Barney. Where's Barney at? I want to know. But anyway, but to the intensity of words, okay, it is very serious that we pay attention to what we say. Now, we've all understood that, I could go into this, that words are vibrations and all this other kind of thing. And here's the bottom line: words are vibrations. When we speak, how we hear things is the tonality, the frequencies of these wave patterns that I speak that hits the microphone. That hey Bob, by the way, goes down through YouTube and whatever, then comes out to you. Okay. So those are vibrations, they can be picked up on sound graphs and all that kind of thing. Hey Travis, how are you? Hope you're doing well. So, but with this one word hate, now I literally, every time I said the word, I had to learn to catch it. And that's the thing you have to do when you want to learn how to, you have to be aware of what you're saying. But there are some things people say, well, I said it to them, but you still use the word a lot. You use it in typing, you use it in this, and you say, well, it's just a word. Okay, all right, all right, all right, follow me. This is what's important. There are times when to use the word hate is appropriate. I just saw another two documentaries about World War II and people going back and stuff like that. And I knew someone who was a sergeant during the Battle of the Bulge in World War II. And I've talked about this isn't about that, but it is about what is said and where the truth lies, or the lies of the truth, maybe. Okay. And that the story was never ever really told, that people really didn't know what was going on in some instances and so forth. But anyway, so for this though, those people who were there during World War II could say they hated the Nazis. Okay. They hated what they did. Okay. And in that there is a, like, I got it. Hey, Michelle. So, but in this, even those folks who were in concentration camps and things, they learned how to stop hating. Why is that important? Because it sets up the wrong vibration in you, because you hate something. Well, I hate peas. Well, okay. Well, I hate canned green beans. Okay. Well, I hate this. I hate spaghetti with, okay. So let's use another word. Let's compare how you would use the word. We've had a power outage for the last 5 years. Oh, so sorry, Chloe. It's okay. We've been out without power before, but just be patient. It'll be okay. People live without power for thousands of years. So, but, it'll be okay. The biggest thing is not to worry about it. Oh my God, when's it going to, that doesn't do you any good. Just say, well, the lights are out for a while. We'll do, we'll light some candles and, hopefully you've got candles, But anyway, but to that point, hope everything's okay. And what are you wasting your battery for listening to me? You can listen on the replay. I'm kidding, but I'm not. I love you, Chloe. I love you all, actually. It's you take trips to the car for the AC. See, that's why I don't have AC, because when people get used to the AC, then you got to have it. I don't have AC. Now I got fans, and I got a fan blowing on me. But anyway, but with words, so we use the words hate. I hate to be out of electricity, Well, but it does the word hate actually fit to where you would hate the Nazis? Okay. And what the atrocities. And it wasn't just the Nazis, some of the things that the Japanese did. Oh my God, during World War II. I'm so glad we're much more friends now. You know what I mean? Because oh my God, the atrocities, from those folks, which brought out, unfortunately, atrocities on our side, but not near like what happened from them folk. But anyway, but mind control, okay? The Fuhrer, and in Japan, it was the Emperor. So we can say that we hate what those folks did. We hate what that stands for. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if we use the word hate, I hate that I stubbed my toe. Well, I hate that I was late for work. Well, I hate that that's not the same force that the word should instill. You know what I'm saying? So when you use the word hate, back yourself up and go, wait a minute. Well, I don't know if I really hate it. I dislike it a lot. Well, I sure, that really ticks me off. Well, I hate when they do that. Oh, wait a minute. I really, I wish they wouldn't say things like that. We change what we speak. Why? Because when we continue to use the word hate, the vibration that it basically, if you truly hate something, not dislike it, or, that you carry that vibration with you. And so if you're trying to be in a better vibration, are you using words that without your knowledge? I mean, you just because it's common for some, man, I hate when they do. But to the point though, when you become aware of those words that may have a negative or a not a not let's say a non-positive vibration to it, wouldn't you want to stay away from that? I mean, because if you're trying to correct your vibrations personally, spiritually, whatever, and it's up to you. Nobody can make you, take you, whatever. You know, I'm going to do another video. This one's going to be an hour long, and that's it. Okay. I'm going to take a short break, and then I'm going to come back for part two. Okay. Which is a separate subject, but kind of sort of on the same lines. Hey, Slightly, how are you? Which moon? Yeah, hate is ugly. And in that, though, see, Chloe, so if you hear the word and it implies ugly to you, then by using the word, whether in writing or thinking or I hate that, then you carry that ugliness with you. You carry other people's hate with you because you're using the word out of turn, basically. And you say, well, I can say what I want. All right, okay, for those people, and as I've said in other videos, it really makes a difference in your life. It makes a difference with other people, how other people hear you, perceive you, whatever. Because when you stay away from words that could somehow, well, I hate when they do that. And you put an emphasis on the word, and then people kind of get that little woo, he hates that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, but let's not talk about other folks at the moment. However, the vibrations we put out with our speech and also with our little keystrokes, because it goes into the continuum, it goes into the quantum, it becomes a vibration in the digital. Okay, think about that. So you say, well, I type this out, blah blah blah, but do you really care? Well, no, I don't care, because I don't care what people think. I'm going to speak my mind. All right, I ain't saying that you don't, but it's for those folks who really want to do better in their own spiritual vibration. And I have listened to folks who like claim they're higher up and all this, but their words tell me otherwise. Their usage of words tells me otherwise, because they haven't stopped to think, for whatever reason, that it's important by the words that they're using all the time, and they repeat them. And there are certain phrases and things people use, and it goes into a loop. You know, you've heard me talk about this loopy thing that we do. I do it too. Okay. So, but the thing is that we need to recognize that we're going into a loop. We need to recognize whether or not, you know, how many times have I said that word hate? Oh, wow. You know, you write it down, you know. Now, not everybody's like this. I know, but here's the thing about the words that we use. We use them without thinking. Okay. So what changes when we think about, and we if I say it sometimes I go, well, I really hate, wait, hang on. I will stop and use another word. Okay, because it's one of those natural things to speak certain ways, and I hate when they do this and blah blah blah. So, but you know, it's really easy to throw it out there. So, but you know, back when I was learning how to do this, and trust me, it's an ongoing thing because situations and circumstances will change, and sometimes it brings, quite frankly, it brings the hate out in you. Okay. So, and it's really difficult to stay out of that modus operandi because they want us, you know who they are, right? They want us to lose control. They want us to stay confused. They want us to be in a state of chaos at all times. And so, guess what? We end up hating that, right? So by using that word, well, I hate the cabal, and I hate these people, I hate the devil, I hate the reply, I hate the, you know what I'm saying? So they're playing us, obviously. Now we can, there may be, it may be to the point where there's something or someone or, you know, that you really do hate about them. But do you have to use the word every time? That's my point. You could say, man, there's a lot. For example, you could say there's a lot to hate about those people. And I dislike what they do very much. But you didn't say that you hated them. You see what I mean? So you can use the word hate in a phrase or a discussion without hating something or someone. So, but what's the difference? It's your intention, it's the vibration that you put out. So you can say, man, there's a lot of things those Democrats have done that could merely make me want to hate them. You see, would want to make me want to hate them. But I really dislike what they're doing, and I would rather pray that these folks will get a, you know, will get a grip, that somebody else will step in, or I'm going to pray in the positive that, you know, now that doesn't always work, it doesn't always happen. And, you know, such is life. It really, such is life. You know, I had a limb that fell off of the oak tree, and it knocked down part of my um, gutter, which goes into my rain barrel thing. And so I hate that the storm. You see what? That's not appropriate. Man, crap. You know, wish the storm had done that, but it's an oak tree. It's an old tree, you know, and stuff's going to happen. So, but do I hate the tree? Do I hate the storm? The storm's gone. Do I hate what happened? Well, I dislike it, but okay, better get up there and fix that gutter. Okay, all right. So, you know, it's kind of sort of been hanging on for a little bit, but so, but here's the thing, when we use those words in a way that we actually quote, and it means to dislike intensely, that you hate something. Well, I hate it when I do that. That's was one of my favorite quotes. And when I started working on the word hate as one of my words to try to, you know, fix, I realized that I was throwing the hate upon myself. And it's like, well, you say, well, Hawkeye, that's just no. If you will stop and listen, which is going to be the second hour of this discussion, but if you stop and listen to yourself and to vibrations, okay, so the vibrational changes within us. Well, what does that have to matter? And what is it, you know, then you're not listening, quite frankly. you have made up your mind already, and that this is not directed to y'all, but to them out there, who don't think this is important. That what's the reason? I can say whatever I want to. Okay, you can. That's true. But if you continue to think it that way and talk like that, I mean, those of us who remember Archie Bunker, it's like, so it was Archie, yeah, Archie, there he goes again, right? So, but Carol Connor, he played a great part, got to say. But in that role of Archie, though, there were folks that hated, they loved the character, they loved Carol O'Connor, but they hated Archie, okay, because of what he stood for and his language and that kind of thing. So, do we want to be seen by friends, relatives, or the universe? Let's talk about this, right? Or do you want to be seen by the universe as this crass Archie type person? Hey, Elderberry, how you doing? So, but anyway, but if we use these words all the time without us paying attention to what we're saying, we become Archie, you know. Uh, we become that person who I can say what I want. I can, do what I want. I can, okay, it's a free country. Yeah. But, Archie wasn't trying to save his soul. You know what I mean? He wasn't trying to be on this some spiritual journey. So we have to stop. If it interests us, what should I do about this? Well, pick one word at a time, like the word hate. If you stop using that word, then you will become aware of other words, okay? Because hate is like one of them big ones with all this karma attached to it and stuff. You can say can't, won't, don't, shouldn't, whatever. Those don't hold a candle combined to what hate is in its own four-letter word, right? Hate comes in different forms. But here's the thing, if we continue to use it, then we keep it in our hearts. Why? Because it keeps coming out of our hearts. It spills out of our mouth with a vibration. And that vibration in us, because we haven't become conscious of what we're saying, we are actually, in a way, hateful people. I know. Stop and think about that one. If we use the word all the time, if that's what some people convey, well, I'm making up a person. Okay. Well, I know this person that he's always talking about hating this and hating that, and blah, 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 blah. He's just a hateful person. Like I talked about, years ago when people thought I was mad all the time. And I was, and I was like, what? Well, you meant this. No, that's not what I meant. Oh, but that's what they read my face. That's what they heard in their voice because of my tone of voice. Oh, wow. Holy crap, right? And I've talked about this, but, and it, so I've had, excuse me, coffee time. Drink if you got them, right? It's all good time for coffee, right? But so by becoming a shaman in training, becoming a spiritual person, you need to become aware of what you're saying. Okay. Now, it may not be all the time. You might use the word maybe not even once a day, but there are people, doggone, I hate when oh, I'm late again. I hate that. That's what I was doing. Okay. So when I realized how much I was saying the word, I was like, man, I have become a hateful person because that's all that I seem to be able to say. When I started writing down and noticing how many times I was saying it, for whatever reason, I was like, whoa, the word hate kind of sort of became like a curse word to me, like, saying fuck all the time or something, right? And I realized that I was saying that too much, and that why, there are appropriate times when the word fuck is appropriate. And there are times when it's overused and it's really not necessary. So yes, I can use it anytime I want. Yes, it's my, yeah, but should I? Now, not to everybody else, but to myself. What kind of vibration setup do I want to, uh, you know, is that what you're conveying to others? Now, I say this and pay attention in that that's what you're conveying to the spirits around you. That's what you're conveying to the universe. That's what you're conveying to the source. That's what you're conveying to, Big Brother looking down on us, or the angels or whoever, and going, man, that's one hateful dude. I don't know if we should land in his yard or not. Which moon, I understand, but see, she would always say, wait, was that Chloe that said that? I'm sorry. It's scrolled down quicker. I'm trying not to look because I'm supposed to stay on task. Um, yeah, witch moon. Yeah, okay. Grandma used to get. And I can understand why there were some older folks who used to be like that. They'd say, Dave, why are you doing that? Why are you cursing yourself? I go, son bitch, man, what do you stupid? Which is another subject for another time. But I will throw it in here in that you hate something all the time. And for me, it was like, man, that was a stupid move. So then the world became stupid to me, and I became stupid in the world because I kept saying it all the time, okay, for various reasons. But a lot of times I was saying, I hate that I'm so stupid all the time. So there's two words, in the same sentence. So what does it matter? There are going to be a lot of people who are going to look at this and go, yeah, this ain't for me. Okie dokie. And this, not everything is for everybody. But if you're honestly looking, honest, and that's in my little description for the title of this, is you have to be honest and go, well, wait a minute. Do I really care about what I'm saying? Even to myself, whether it's, to out there in public or that you're typing it, but you say it under your breath, or you have the thought, well, that was a stupid move. Okay, well, now that's different. I can say, well, that was a stupid move, Dave. But if I say, Dave, now that was stupid, meaning I'm stupid. Okay, so I can. So if I start a sentence out like, or well, that was a stupid. Yeah, it was stupid. Let's try to be smarter about this. So rather than curse myself or go, yeah, that was kind of stupid or silly. Now instead of using stupid, I use the word silly. Well, now that was silly. So where I used to curse myself for every tiny little thing I did wrong because I was always being, somebody was always on me. Well, that was stupid, Dave. Yeah, I thought you had more brains than that. And, so I picked it up. And because nobody said it to me, I had to self denigrate myself, okay, in order to feel whatever, right? And there is a lot of saving in there. Your energy, your vibration, lots of stuff can and will change if you allow it. Strongly dislike, yeah. Um, Thoughts become words and words become reality. It becomes a vibration. And whether now slightly slanted, I agree with you, but to the point though, that whether or not it actually manifests as a hate thing, it does go because of its vibrational thingy. It does go into the quantum energy field as that. Okay. So, but here's another thing. So you can say, well, this person did me wrong and I hate them. I just hate what they did to me. Now, okay. For me, there are folks who've done me wrong and so forth over the years. And, for whatever reason, it's been really difficult and not to want to throw a little hate in there towards their, but I can't because I wish no ill will towards anyone. Okay. My number one, you know, commandment is to do no harm to anything, right? So to want to wish bad luck or to hate someone or to whoever, that's not good energy to the universe for any reason, especially if for some reason I may be directing it at someone who's done me wrong. Yeah, silly goose. Thank you, slightly. But to the point, though, it's like, but we need to pay attention. Do we care enough to change what we say? A lot of people are going to go, fuck you, Dave. It's not, it's none of your business. I can say what I want. Okie dokie. I still love you. And maybe one of these days, if it's your spiritualness that needs to understand it, that you'll pick it up one day and, not to say that I was right, but that what other people have told me about speaking in the positive and what I've learned from the creator and from the spirit on the spirit journey, guess what? The universe is right. Not necessarily me or the person who showed me or the person who showed them. It's that it's the right thing to do if you truly wish to learn to be more spiritual and more, whatever. So, hey, Alexander, the ganja shaman, cool beans. And speaking of that, I'm going to have another hit off my bowl. So, this is another part of this discussion, and I'm going to hold this topic to an hour. But I want to take a short break and then come back. I've got a part two. But I have been visited by the spirits who are saying, you got to stop these 4 hour long ones. You can do 4 hours in a row, just split them up, Dave. Because there's been information that comes up at 5 hours in that nobody's hearing. And in my conversations with my spirit guides, they're going, you had some really good stuff there. But maybe it was only a 30-minute topic, but you put it in the middle of a 5 hour, 6 hour, 7 hour program. And for those that really need to hear it, maybe you're not giving them the opportunity. That's my conversations with them. So to some of these things, I need to hold it to an hour because, and they're right in that. So I have to be honest with myself and go, I'll do another hour, I'll do another 2 hours, but not consecutively, not in the same video. Let's all go take a pee, get something to drink, and come back in 10 minutes, and I'll do another hour, or maybe two. But for a subject like this, but anyway, I'm going into a loop, you see. So honesty with ourselves on so many levels is really, really important. So there are those folks who find this to be an interesting topic. That's okay. There are folks who are seriously into their spiritual development and they go, I really do want to change. I want to, it's not necessarily, well, wait. If you're doing it like I was, or then you do change your energy. You do change your pattern. But it's the awareness up in your head and your hearing that you go, I heard myself start to say that and I chose to use another word. That's it. You make the choice to go, actually, I just really dislike these folks or what they're doing. And there was a really good example is like, there are those Germans who were Germans because they were Germans, okay? There were the Japanese who were Japanese because they were Japanese. You can't hold the fact that they were German, I'm thinking of World War II. You can't, just because they were Japanese, you can't hold them against that because that's how they were grown up. That's what they learned. And I mean, those hundreds or thousands of people that threw themselves off the cliff when the GIs came on one of those Japanese islands because they were told by the imperial god, that the Americans were going to eat them and all this other kind of stuff when that just was not true. So we have to think about why we hate things. So do we hate the people themselves? Because a lot of times during war, when an enemy got to know the other enemy, they, learned that there was more to each other, or, that they were people and not just soldiers, or, and there was a connection, right? So when we understand that we're people being sent by these other things, then we don't hate the person. We hate that which has taught them to be that way, you see. So did we hate the Japanese during World War II? Yep. Were we, did we hate the Nazis? Yeah, you bet. Did we hate all German peoples? No, because a lot of them German peoples were caught up in a situation where they couldn't go anywhere. They were basically, that it's their homeland. And, they got to do what the president says with a gun to your head. So just saying. So we can learn to hate the people, or we can learn to hate, if we're going to use the word. So we don't focus it at the people, we focus it at the ideology that was forced down these people. Which this idea of free speech is a really good idea, but actually, do we really? So the other side of that, do we really have free speech, is that from a personal level, should I be able to say whatever I want at any time? And it's like, sure, I have the right, but then morally, within my own self, not to anybody else, but morally within my own self, and with thine own self be true, should I? Morally, for me, not anybody else, but for me, should I speak up? And there are times when it's best to keep your mouth shut. Because sometimes there are people who are expecting you to say something and you don't. They expect you to react and to hate and to, and you don't. So what does that say about your reaction? And what does, there are five of us standing here in the room and everybody was like, yeah, let's lynch them, let's get them, and then what do you think? I don't know. It seems like y'all got your mind made up. What? You didn't say no, you didn't say yes, but you made an assessment. Y'all have made up your mind, to condemn whatever it is they're condemning or whatever, or going along with something. Now, it might be a really good something to go along with, don't get me wrong, but there are times when people are led down the wrong way when they don't have all the facts. And so they want to hate a person, or they want to hate a thing, or they be, okay, hang on, just hold that thought, So they learn to hate these things. But here's the thing that carries on. The more you use the word and the more that stays in there, the more you think about, well, I hate them Nazis. Well, I hate them Germans. I hate them Jats for what they did. And I hate these people. And I hate. Okay. You see, you're carrying now a burden within that you have sort of accepted into your soul. Okay. Think about this, because it's much higher than your freedom of speech. Sure, you can say it, you have the right to, but in your own heart, for your own self, should you? Because of the vibrational frequencies, the emotion and the energy and everything that wells up inside you. It changes your DNA, it changes your thought pattern, it changes the color of your aura. All these things are true. Hey, Candy Apple. So with this said, though, so it's like, well, wait a minute. Now, this doesn't mean if there's something going wrong and you need to speak up, that's not what I'm discussing. Okay. But there are times when people, when basically silence is there's more words in your silence than in any kind of speech you could give. But For Brutus is an honorable man. You know, think about that one. Hate and love are the same thing, just opposite sides of the emotional spectrum. Sometimes, but I love a lot of people, but my love for them is no comparison. So I would disagree with that in that, it's the opposite. I mean, I get it, you can be hateful all the time or you can be loving all the time, but those folks who love and hate at the same time, and I've been there, so that's just some convoluted weirdness. But um, the fact that I have moved out of hating people, there are still folks that, that rub me the wrong way and they're, whatever. But the more that I have just stopped trying to judge them, some of their behavior, it's like, okay, so I'm a crazy old man too. So I get it. So I got my ways about me too. Truth by looking at it, calculate 45 degrees to me at 9 degrees to be like the sun. You've never seen the moon at 90 degrees. Oh, there, not to discount you, Chloe, but there's weird stuff happening all the time. Here's something that's interesting. Now, most of you know that I have a passive solar house. So when I was talking to my friend who stopped by the other day, and I was telling him that in my last video that I did about Earth wobble and stuff, I saw the sun come through this window over there, right? That ain't supposed to ever come through that window. So we've had storms the last couple of days. We had, I guess it's Freddie that went by. Do the Freddie. So it's been overcast, and it's hard for me to look through the clouds to check out where the stars and everything are at the moment, right? But anyway, but I noticed that Jupiter a few days ago was really low in the sky. Okay, and so that could have meant, and that was about the same time that I saw sun coming through the wrong window. But now today, it being the seventh, well, now it's the 18th. Good morning, everybody. It's the next day. That I looked down on the floor outside the window here because now the sun's actually shining through. That the sun is on the floor of the house. So until March, there's going to be sun literally on the floor coming through the windows if the sun's up and it's not cloudy. Okay, so the sun will travel across my floor all the way across until it gets over there to the wall, and that'll be about winter, dead winter, and then it goes the other way because then we start going into spring. So I get to watch the shadow, or the sun go across the floor here in the house. So, but anyway, um, the idea though that it's been really strange with the sun and the moon and things. Right now, the moon's kind of low in the sky, but back about full moon, the moon was pretty much straight overhead, if that's what you're talking about. Yeah, just out of place. And there's a lot of people. Hey, Miss Pearl. I understand, Chloe, but I'm just saying, and here's the thing: from everybody's position, there's weird stuff going on. I'm just here to say, So I agree, there's weird stuff going on. We just have to do the best we can. It's Wednesday here. Happy Hump Day. Yep. But there are things going on in the universe and with different levels of I'm going to use the word politics when it even means with aliens and other folks. Okay, I mean I'm just saying politics. Okay, that there are so many different levels of stuff going on. But here's the thing: they want us to hate each other. They want us. I mean, they want us to use this word hate on each other. They, with the BLM and the this and the that and the other thing. For me, Alexander, it's all them others, not just one or two, but all them others, because there's about 10 particular races that are seriously involved with us right now. And some of them look a little reptilian, but they're good guys. So, but anyway, and there are some of them that you just yuck. But anyway, but to the point though, I say we should be aware of these things, but not to the point of being scared of these things. Because being scared a lot of times will draw some of these entities right to you because your aura changes. So, with this, in using positive words, when we stop using words like hate randomly, okay, there are times to use, I'm not saying stop using it, but there are times when you say, well, I hate that they switched them channels. Wrong use of the word. Okay. Just saying we should use it where it's appropriate and other words as well. So with that said, we change our energy field, okay, because we have become aware of what we're saying, not just out to the universe, which is important, but it's for our own change in vibrational tones. So you want to change the color of your aura, be aware of the words that you're using and possibly the overuse of words. For me, that's my example. Or the misappropriation of a word, or well, that just came up, but the misuse of a word in the context, you know. So when we stop and become conscious rather than just ramble and babble on, as sometimes I have a tendency to do, that's why this video is going to stop at an hour and I'm going to pick it up in 10 minutes. So everyone do this for me, please. Just every time you hear the word, they examine how it makes you feel. Yep. Yep. And I have talked about this way back, but it makes us become closer to the observer. Okay. And, you say, well, I've looked at this and these people and those people, it's like, well, but here's the thing, in the spiritual awareness, if that's really where you're headed, other people are like, wow, that's interesting and all that. Okay, that's all right. Not trying to push anybody in this direction. But for one person who says, I really want to do this, I really want to try this, because for whatever reason, I see how important it is. Okay, here's to you. You know what I mean? So, and I'm not taking nobody, don't show your hands. Well, I'm going to do, that's not my reason for this discussion. My reason for the discussion is that when you start to become aware of certain words, just pick the word hate, just one word, and see how it ties into your days or weeks or whatever. Just one word, just as the example, because that's the worst of them, in my humble opinion. That we say, well, then what it does is it makes you aware. Ain't that part of this spiritual awareness thing, is that you become aware? So when you become aware of one word, you also become aware of other words that you use. You start to hear yourself, and you start to hear yourself before you speak, which allows you to have choices. Now, for me, loving to play word games and stuff, over the years and conversations and storytelling and all. So, how can I say this without using one word? So, I really dislike the way them sons of guns. So, would have said hate, would have said son of a bitch, and but the intent behind it now is because now I'm trying, my brain is focusing on alternative words to use when I really mean I hate their freaking guts, no, but my brain is going to automatically, because my brain says, let's use this vernacular. And my soul spirit says, nah, we have made a decision, our awareness, we want to change this. So we're going to use that. Every time I see some of them folk, they really disconcert me. At times I want to say pissed off, but it just disappoints me. I'm disappointed in how these people act or have reacted. I'm disappointed, versus pissed or ugly or nasty or hate, right? So it becomes a challenge to yourself to say, my brain wants to use the word hate, but it's going to find an alternative. So you ask your spirit guides, you ask your angels, your whatever that and say, okay, listen, I really want to stop using this word, except where honestly appropriate. Um, And before I use the word hate, I stop and think about, is this truly one of them situations where the word hate is actually needed? Like sometimes you need to use the word fuck. That's the, but do we have to use it all the time? Do we have to keep it in our energy field? So, but in this awareness of our being shamans in training, one word, one word, one word makes us aware of so much more because we wish to choose it. We wish to become aware of the energy that we're maybe even just thinking. Hey, David, how are you? So it increases so much word than just changing your style of using the word hate. Okay, because it makes you become aware of what you're going to say. It makes you become aware of what maybe you be feeling. So it's like, man, I really want to use the word hate. Do you? Well, then I'm carrying something. I'm carrying hate. Well, wait a minute. If I'm on my shaman spiritual journey, then I don't want to carry hate in my heart, right? No, no, we don't want that. Oh crap. So then it makes you self-aware and goes, wait, so how long have I been having these feelings towards whatever it is that I hate, right? And is the word hate appropriate is my point. So if you use the word hate and you really mean it, then it also should it does me self-reflection and go, so I really hate them. Holy crap. So that means I'm harboring these feelings down inside and and oh, holy crap, holy shit, So instead of me being of a positive outlook or the positive person, here I am deep down inside. I've got hate in my heart. Well, that ain't what I want. So, but until we become aware of it, till we decide, and it's like I said in my little description, it's up to you. This isn't, you know, that you got to do this. But I will say this from my own shaman journey, from my own use of the word, the power and what you have with or without it. If you wish to really get the energy, the spiritual, the awareness thing, then you will need to do it. Not because I said so, because you should pick it up on your own that, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. The shamans didn't go around and condemn folks. They might have looked at someone in the tribe and said, their actions are not appropriate. So they didn't curse the person. They didn't put um, they didn't put a negativity on someone. They put the negativity on the behavior. Okay. And you go, well, what's the difference? Well, some people might behave that way all the time, but sometimes people don't always act that way or something, they're being turned into zombies and things. And so you go, well, wait a minute, there was a person there a minute ago, and now it's this, either somebody who has crumbled to the floor and is twitching and can't handle it, or they're angry and want to kill you and they're fiery and emotional. I mean, and there's a lot of in betweens, but but when you understand that, wait a minute, I I have been, without knowing it, I have been carrying this certain whatever portion it may be towards a group, towards the Nazis, towards the Republicans, whoever it is, right? When I learned for myself, because when I said, well, I hate what they did to me, I do hate what they did to me. Do I hate them? Well, I really hate the system. There's a couple of people in there that maybe might fall into the category of hate because they were personally responsible for my suffering and heartache and issues, certain doctors and whatever. But I realized that I cannot stay on my journey if I'm going to continue to harbor hate for those who did me. Honest to God, personal harm, physical harm, a lot of stuff. And the answer is no. Now, I haven't necessarily forgiven them, but I did stop hating them. Okay. Yeah, it's 12:14. I was going to wait till the 20. I've got another subject that I want to talk about, but I'm really going to try my best. I have been being kicked in the butt by the spirits to keep, this subject needs to stay an hour, okay, or very close. But the idea, though, that in this world, there's so many people who just talk at random and thoughts come out and things come out. And if they're using colloquial terms and stuff like that, well, I hate this, and I hate that other team, and them Dodgers, I hate them Dodgers, and whatever it is. Do you really hate them? Now, there's a person that I know pretty well, and she happens to use the word way too much. And I have kind of mentioned it, but she's not really interested in the spiritual journey. She's just not like, well, I don't look at, if I say it, I'm nice to people. I don't hurt anybody, and I help out people when but you listen to your attitude there. But so being nice to people and everything is one thing, but then holding grudges and hating stuff all the time ain't necessarily where it needs to go. So, but for those of us who really care, and it's all right, there are some folks, well, listen, I help people out in the community. I give to the food bank and I do this. And what the fuck, if I got this attitude and if I hate these people and blah, blah, okie dokie. They're not on the same train as us, okay? And that's all right, but they're still doing good things, okay? So it's like this really tough yin and yang. But I've known since a little kid that this was part of my journey, as much as I tried to ignore it for so many years. So other people don't have the same calling. That's okay. And it's not like, but for those people who are absolutely seeking a higher spiritual sense, then it's very important that you learn how to be aware of these things, because your awareness of other things heightens as well. But to stop using the word hate until it's appropriate, and to learn what hates you may have in your heart because you use the word, inappropriately at times. If you will absolutely do the homework, it's gonna be revealing to you in whatever way you may. Well, it's not gonna be okay. If you condemn it before you try it, there you go. But at some time in the future, I'm going to pray that if you really are interested in a sure enough higher spiritual path, that the spirits will bring the subject back around and you will re-examine it. Okay, give it another chance, because changing your own personal vibration and keeping that vibration, that's keeping your armor up. But if you're hating stuff all the time and you're doing this and that, and it's a 20, oh, almost, um, if you're all the time, cursing and, when it's not necessary, and, can't, won't, don't, shouldn't, can't, those are other words that I'm going to talk about in another video. Okay. Now, my second hour coming up here, I'm going to wait till the 20, and then it's coffee time. And then give me time to post another video, 10, maybe 15. I'm going to go to the toilet, get some more coffee, smoke a cigarette, and then come back. But I got another subject that they want me to talk about, but not included in this video. So if y'all are interested, come back for part 2. And it's good, and it has to do about self expectations or spiritual expectations or something, because it's sort of like the Jesus Buddha complex. Or do you are your expectations of being a spiritual person to be like Jesus, to be an angel, to be like Buddha, to be like what is your idea of what your spiritual goal is in this? If it's just do the best you can to be a good person, that's what we need to talk about. People are over, I don't know, they keep going back to the Bible and going, oh, but the Bible says this. And it's like, yeah, but what does your heart tell you? What does your heart tell you? And stay the hell out of the Old Testament. You want to talk about the New Testament, well, then talk about what Jesus said and did. Okay, let's talk about that. Let's not talk about all this other stuff. Okay, let's talk about as close to the facts as they were supposedly told. So let's go with that. Okay, screw the rest of it. What does the Bible mean to be a Christian? Okay. So, but what does a Christian mean? Is to be like Jesus. Okay. Then should you pay attention to anything else except what Jesus said? Who cares what Paul or Timothy or what Daniel said? Who cares? Who is the person? Jesus. That's for part 2. Okay. So, oh, it's 12:20. Okay. Here we go. Holy moly. Woo, that was a good one. Paul Joe, I've been thinking when we say, hey, we are connecting to others. Absolutely right. Absolutely. We're connecting to others, karma or vibes. That's what I mean an hour ago when I said that our hate becomes part of the the quantum, you know, that may be a good reason not to use strong negative language, just a thought. Absolutely, Paul. And that's my point about this, is that when people become aware of it, well, yes, true. I have freedom of speech, yes. But inside yourself, should you really say it? Or should you say it like that? Well, I'm fucking excited to bitches. Or maybe you could say, them disgraceful people that, um, you know, that has a tendency to make me want to, put up arms. And you could say, well, what do you mean by that? Well, that could mean the same thing as I'd really like to shoot the bastard, you know, but makes me want to take up arms. Okay, so that could be you could want to punch him or slap him or take up arms as, the thingy, or maybe it's a sword, who knows. But to the point, though, I agree with you, Paul, and you've gotten the point. And that people realize it's not about everybody else, it's about your own sanity. It's about your own energy. It's about you. Well, yes, I have the right to say it, but should you? Now, you could speak up, but the proper choice of words would keep you out of the hate, negative, whatever cycle, and still get your point across. And it takes more awareness and more thought and a little more, but it will increase who you are, okay? And your awareness and stuff. It just works. So, but for those, for the elders, they didn't sit around and talk a lot. You know what I mean? Well, how you doing? Well, how's the weather? Sun's up, you know. It's not raining, you know. Uh, there's a very old bad Indian joke. It was like, so um, grandfather, said one of the boys in around sitting listening, um, who gives us our names? And grandfather says, well, the chief. Well, how does the chief come by these names? And grandfather said, well, he opens the door of his teepee and looks out, and the first things that he sees, that's usually what he names you. So why do you ask two dogs humping? Now, there were a lot of choice of other words that could have been used there, but to keep it semi clean, but, um, but the idea, though, that somebody else gives us our name, somebody else gives us who we are, somebody else tries to tell us who we are, somebody else, and what we need to do is look at ourselves and go, well, wait a minute. Wait, let me take my own personal little thing here and find out who I am. Now, this is the end of this hour. I promised to stay here, and I am. But if you all will just take a break with me and come back in 10 minutes or less, I got to type it out. That takes me 10 minutes. But I have a part two I want to talk about. My whole husband told me that story on your first date. Well, there you go, two dogs humping. So, how did you get your name, Witch Moon? I don't want to know, but I'm being silly. Okay, that was a good hit. Um, Grouchy Smurf was the lowest vibration Smurf. He hated everything. Right. Yep. And Grumpy, was the Grumpy of the Seven Dwarfs. But anyway, all right, my friends, I love you all. I'm going to close with a prayer, and I promise. Um, oh, you two dogs also. Yeah. But anyway, give me 5 or 10 minutes to put out another, type out the thing and go pee and get some coffee, and I'll be back because I think this other part needs to be separate from this part. Okay, I love you all. I do. So, I do always finish my short ones with the prayer. So I continue to pray that each and every day that each and every one of you will continue to learn to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many, many blessings from the universe. In the law of two, every time I put my 2 feet on the ground, every day that me and Duggar go outside and look at the moon, or run in the rain, I continue to pray that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, and all of those that you're related to, will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many, many blessings from the universe. And in that law of three, that is really, really important to me. I mean this. I continue to pray that each and every one of you will continue to learn to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many, many, many blessings from the universe, and that you will continue to learn how to reject those things you know you don't need in your life, and that you can choose how to raise your vibrations. Now, look, give me 10 minutes. I'm going to be back. So, but this is the end of this part. I love you all. And maybe other people will say, God Almighty, thank you, Dave, for shortening up your videos because them 5 hour ones are just too damn long. There you go. I love you all. So from South Georgia at 1:27 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on what is this, Wednesday the 18th of August. I say TTFN, and I'll see you in 10 minutes. Okay, love you all. Bye. Oops, got us. Bye.